emergency?
I'm being followed by two vehicles. 846. They're trying to run me off the road. They're trying to hit my car. Please, I'm begging you. They've hit into the back of the car very fast. They're trying to run us off the road. Please, I'm begging you. I want to die. I think I want to die.
Welcome to the Deadly Diaries, where we dive into the darkest corners of true crime. February 11th, 2022. On a quiet stretch of the A46, flashing lights cut through the night. A car is found torn apart, consumed by fire. Two young men inside, their lives ended in an instant. At first, it looks like a tragic accident, but the deeper the police dig, the stranger the story becomes. This was no random crash. It was the final act in a dangerous game of secrets, betrayal, and obsession. At the center of it all, a rising TikTok star, living two very different lives, one polished for her followers, and one far more dangerous in the shadows. Mahek Bukhari, better known to her thousands of followers as May B Vlogs, was a rising star in the world of social media. She shared her life online, posting videos about fashion, beauty, and lifestyle that drew in viewers from across the UK and beyond. Born in the United States on May 22, 1999, Mahek moved to the UK with her family in 2002. She grew up in Stoke-on-Trent, in a modest home on George Eardley Close, alongside her mother, father, and younger brother. Her journey into social media began while studying fashion at Manchester Metropolitan University, but the bright lights of online fame proved hard to resist. She dropped out of university to focus entirely on her growing digital presence, and it was starting to pay off. By her early 20s, Mahek had built a following of nearly 129,000 people across TikTok and Instagram. Brand deals, product launches, and exclusive parties offered both income and the kind of lifestyle her followers envied. She was living a life many dreamed of. Curated, polished, and carefully presented to the world. Mahek often boasted about an elite relationship with her mother, Ansreen, who frequently appeared in her videos, laughing at jokes, giving fashion advice, and sharing in her daughter's online success. Ansreen Bukhari was born in Pakistan, but moved to the UK as a baby. From a young age, she carried ambitions of her own, dreams of seeing the world, of becoming a flight attendant. But those dreams were curtailed. Her parents would not allow her to attend college, and the life she had imagined quietly slipped out of reach. She settled into the life expected of her: marriage, motherhood, and the routines of a respectable housewife. But beneath the smiles, the laughter, and the carefully curated TikTok videos, Ansreen was living a secret life. Ansreen, 46, had become involved with a much younger man, Saqib Hussain, 21. At the time, he was just 18, but he lied about his age, claiming he was 27. What began as a private connection quickly spiraled into an intense, secretive affair. The pair met in hotels across Birmingham and London, and Saqib often sent gifts to the family home in Stoke-on-Trent, where Ansreen lived with her husband, her son, and her daughter, Mahek. Ansreen insisted the relationship was a one-off mistake, a lapse in judgment, but when police later accessed Saqib's iCloud account, they discovered photos and videos proving the pair had met multiple times over several years. Ansreen admitted she had lied to protect her marriage. She claimed she had tried to end the relationship repeatedly, but Saqib refused to accept her decision. Threats followed. Threats to expose the affair to her husband and son, coupled with the fear of intimate images being shared. Ansreen told the court that when she first met Saqib, he persuaded her to meet him at a hotel in Birmingham, where they had sex for the first time. During online video chats, he recorded her without her knowledge. "He was telling me to do things that I didn't know he was recording," she said. The pressure escalated. "If I didn't take his video calls, he would get angry," she explained. The relationship continued into early 2021. The second time they had sex was at a Premier Inn in London, a hotel Mahek and Ansreen had booked for themselves. Saqib arrived, and Ansreen wanted to end things. "I wanted to finish it off quite a few times, but it didn't work that way," she told the court. When asked if she had wanted to have sex the second time, she admitted, not really. She emphasized that she had not been forced, yet the encounter remained tense and uncomfortable. Every attempt to end the relationship was met with resistance, often with anger. He used to swear at me, and it was just not nice. The wording that he used, she recalled. When questioned why she hadn't gone to the police, Ansreen admitted she was terrified. I was just too scared the police were going to come to my house, and my husband and my family would find out. It wasn't until December 2021 that Mahek Bukhari learned the truth. Her mother, Ansreen, revealed the affair she had been hiding. I told her at the end of the year that we had a sexual relationship, Ansreen said in court. She was angry. She said, "I can't believe what you've just told me." She was very angry. Mahek told the court that she had been both shocked and furious when she discovered her mother's affair. Her anger extended to Saqib Hussain, who she deeply mistrusted, especially after learning he had once posted images online with her face grotesquely superimposed onto a naked body. He was a manipulative person, and he was just pure nasty, Mahek told the court. He was basically narcissistic, a stalker. The threat Saqib posed became impossible to ignore. The court was read an extract of dozens of messages Saqib had sent to Ansreen, in which he repeatedly threatened to come to her house. "You're pissing me off more and more by ignoring me. I will do something you're going to regret. I'm a crazy bastard." He also demanded money. £3,000 he claimed he had spent on Ansreen over the course of their relationship. For Mahek, it was no longer just about betrayal. The man who had manipulated her mother, threatened their family, and violated her own boundaries had become a looming, dangerous presence. Fear and anger intertwined, setting the stage for a confrontation that would change everything. The tension between mother and daughter grew as the threat from Saqib Hussain escalated. Messages uncovered between Ansreen and Mahek revealed Mahek's anger and frustration. "I'll get him jumped by guys, and he won't know what day it is," she wrote to her mother, a stark warning to the man who'd invaded their lives. Meanwhile, police inquiries showed that over time, Ansreen had tried to appease Saqib, offering to pay back money he claimed he had spent on her. An arrangement was made for the pair, mother and daughter, to meet Saqib at a Tesco car park in Hamilton, Leicester, to hand over the money. But Saqib Hussain had no idea what awaited him. Unknown to him, the meeting had been carefully orchestrated. In an effort to protect her mother, Mahek turned to her friend, car mechanic Rikan Karwan. Together, they devised a plan to lure Saqib to the Tesco car park by offering the £3,000 he had demanded. Rikan brought in his best friend, Reez Jamal, Reez's cousin Amir Jamal, and other friends, Sanaf Gulu Mustafa, Natasha Akhtar, and Mohammed Patel. In the early hours of February 11th, 2022, the group arrived at the Tesco car park in Leicester, split between two vehicles, an Audi TT and a Seat Leon. None of the defendants were carrying any money. They waited in the shadows, their faces hidden beneath balaclavas. At least one of them carried a weapon, a wheel brace, ready for what they had planned. Meanwhile, in Banbury, Saqib's hometown, he was trying to arrange a lift to get to Leicester. He asked a few friends, and Hashim Ijazuddin agreed to drive him. Hashim had no knowledge of the plan, no ties to any of the defendants, and played no part in what was about to happen. He was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. CCTV footage captured Saqib and Hashim arriving at the car park at around 1:17 a.m. in a Skoda Fabia, marked here as the Green Arrow. Almost immediately, they drove away again, likely after spotting the other cars and the group waiting. Just 2 minutes later, the blue arrow shows the Seat Leon leaving the car park, followed closely by the Audi TT, marked with the red arrow. Mahek and Ansreen were passengers in the Audi TT. At this point, police knew from phone records that Mahek had called Saqib. The conversation became tense, though the exact words exchanged were unknown. Just 1 minute after this call, Saqib dialed 999 in a state of panic, reporting that he and his friend, Hashim, were being followed by two vehicles while driving near Leicester. He described the pursuers as attempting to block and ram their car off the road, warning that they were wearing balaclavas. Despite being asked, Saqib could not safely reach a police station and repeatedly insisted that he needed immediate help. He told the operator that the vehicles behind were trying to kill him. He struggled to provide details of the cars or exact location, explaining he was using a friend's phone and that the attackers were crashing into the side of his vehicle. Throughout the call, he remained frantic, reporting that the cars behind were striking them and attempting to ram them off the road. The operator tried to calm him while arranging urgent assistance, but the fear and chaos in Saqib's voice were unmistakable. The frantic call lasted around 5 minutes as Saqib and Hashim navigated the dual carriageway, even running a red light, in a desperate attempt to evade their pursuers. The final moments of the call were harrowing. Towards the end, there was a chilling 10-second silence before the operator asked if Saqib was still on the line. Just after 1:30 a.m., a recovery driver traveling along the A46 spotted a car engulfed in flames, its twisted metal resting against a tree. Realizing that no one had alerted the authorities, he quickly blocked off the road with his truck, a lone barrier against further disaster. Minutes later, the wail of sirens pierced the early morning silence as police and firefighters arrived at the scene. Once the blaze was extinguished, officers were met with a horrifying sight: the bodies of 2 men trapped inside the wreckage. Forensic investigators would later reveal the full extent of the devastation. The Skoda Fabia had first smashed into the central reservation barrier before crashing violently into the tree. The impact was so immense that the car split in two and the engine was torn free from the chassis. Saqib Hussain and Mohammed Hashim Ijazuddin had died instantly from multiple catastrophic injuries long before the fire consumed what remained of the vehicle. Data from a tracker fitted to the hired Audi TT revealed just how deadly the pursuit had been. During the chase, the car had reached speeds of up to 100 miles per hour, relentlessly pressing after the Skoda Fabia, which itself was estimated to be traveling at over 80 miles per hour at the moment of impact. The tracker showed the Audi braking heavily after the crash, slowing to 62 miles per hour, yet neither vehicle stopped. The Audi and Seat Leon continued along the A46 until they reached a junction where 2 people were seen exiting a car, seemingly inspecting it for damage, before climbing back in and driving away, but now with Mahek as driver of the Audi and Natasha the Seat Leon. Both cars later drove back past the collision site, passing the Skoda now engulfed in flames. At no point did any of the defendants call for help. Once the group arrived in Leicester, they pulled up on Sutton Place, a quiet cul-de-sac far from prying eyes. Stepping out of the cars, they began wandering the streets. CCTV captured them at various points around 2 a.m., moving through the cold February darkness. Officers reviewing the footage could not be certain of their intentions, though one theory was that they were preparing a cover story. Natasha, the registered owner of the Seat Leon, began her journey back to her home in Birmingham, while the Bukharis headed north towards Stoke-on-Trent. Meanwhile, Leicestershire police were already one step ahead. Saqib's 999 call had been flagged, and detectives were scouring ANPR cameras. An alert went out, and 2 officers in the West Midlands spotted Natasha's vehicle. They followed her and eventually boxed her in at a petrol station. Before this happened, Natasha called Reis in a panic. Shortly after 8 a.m., Mahek and Ansreen were awakened by police speaking to Mahek's brother and father. Mahek noticed a string of missed calls from Reis, who knew police had located Natasha. While officers from Staffordshire Police spoke with the male members of the household, Mahek returned Reis' call, then sent a text to her mother in the next room, explaining what she intended to tell the police. Dressed in a pink, fluffy, oversized hoodie, Mahek lied to officers, claiming that on the night of the crash, they had been travelling to Nottingham for a social media event.
Where were you? Where was that?
So we stayed here, and then we went straight to Nottingham.
Right. Okay. In the Audi?
Yes, Audi, yeah.
Right.
She and her mother were later arrested and taken to a Leicester police station. During interviews, Mahek continued to maintain her version of events, but when police played Saqib's 999 call, her composure cracked. Instead of admitting the truth, she broke down in tears, insisting that Saqib lies so much and had manipulated the situation.
And the silver car, all I hear is like a, you can hear like a bang, but not a big bang. It was like you hit behind me, basically. The silver cars hit the blue car at the back, like a touch, but you can tell the blue car has gone a bit faster. So I looked at my mum and I goes, "Mum, what is going on? What is wrong with, are they, I don't know if they're drunk, what are they trying to do to this blue car in general?"
After seizing the Seat Leon and Audi TT, forensic investigators examined the vehicles. The Seat Leon showed damage to its front, consistent with a collision against the rear of the Skoda Fabia. In the Audi TT's boot, they discovered a wheel brace, while a curved metal tool was found on the driver's seat of the Seat Leon. Investigators concluded these items had been deliberately brought to the meeting, ready for the violent plan that had unfolded. All of the defendants were charged with 2 counts of murder, each denying responsibility, which set the stage for a high-profile trial at Leicester Crown Court. The trial heard how all defendants did admit to being in the Seat Leon or the Audi TT at the time of the collision. On Friday, 4 August, after days of evidence and testimony, the trial reached its conclusion. The jury delivered its verdicts in court. Ansreen Bukhari, 46, and her daughter Mahek Bukhari, 24, along with Raiz Jamal, 23, and Rekan Karwan, 29, were all found guilty of the murders of Saqib and Hashim. Sanaf Ghulam Mustafa, 23, Amir Jamal, 28, and Natasha Akhtar, 23, were all acquitted of murder. However, the jury found them guilty of manslaughter. One defendant, Mohammed Patel, gave police a full account of the night, revealing details of the chase. Crucially, he explained that Rekan and Raiz had a phone conversation during the pursuit, discussing the possibility of ramming Saqib off the road. Mohammed Patel was found not guilty of murder and not guilty of manslaughter. The chilling events of that February night left 2 families devastated and a community in shock. What began as an affair and a demand for money escalated into a carefully orchestrated, deadly plan, one fueled by lies, deceit, and selfish motives. The verdicts bring justice for Saqib Hussain and Mohammed Hashim Ijazuddin, but they cannot erase the profound loss suffered by those who loved them. This case serves as a stark reminder of how quickly trust can be betrayed and lives destroyed, and how the consequences of calculated choices can echo far beyond a single night. Thank you for joining us on this episode of The Deadly Diaries. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share to stay connected with stories that matter. And remember, if you or someone you know is in danger, please seek help. Until next time, stay safe, stay vigilant, and never stop asking why.